What's up, guys? We're back this week. Austin couldn't be with us, but we have the best replacement anyone can ask for, and that's
so kind.
that's my man Colby. So thank you for joining us, man. We're happy to have you back.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. So we'll get right into it here on today's show. Of course, we're gonna see who we're dedicating this episode to. We got two great guys for you. I know 25 is kind of a weird number for the newbies, so we're gonna have to dig into the memory bank. And then this week's overview, I'm personally a little bit excited about. I think it's pretty fun. I know you participate, but we're going to look at NASCAR fantasy. We got fantasy football coming up, so we thought it was a good time to get into that. And then, of course, we're going to recap Michigan, who stood out to us in that. And then we got Daytona coming up, so we got some good bets for you this week. I hope Colby's got a couple. Mm-hmm. And then we'll get into predictions. And then, as always, we're going to close with stupid questions. My name's Spencer.
My name's Colby.
And it is time to drop the green.
It's been a long time gone since the truth's been told, and I've seen my head cut us low. Come on, save my soul with a bar guitar and a honky tonk.
All right, guys. So as Spencer said, we are back with episode 25 of Drop the Green. Spencer, who, sorry, I've still got that whiskey in my mouth.
That was a good one. That was a rough one.
I feel like a cow with cud. I'm like,
yeah, chalky.
Yeah,
a little bit, but I enjoy it. It's good.
Yeah, it is good. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it goes down smooth.
Mm-hmm.
It'll get you back later though.
I just don't think it mixed well with my citrus Zen.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
No. Neither does this menthol, but at this point I don't taste Zens, which is sad, I just you know what I'm gonna tell a truth here that I probably shouldn't tell.
Do it.
But I will be eating and I'll forget I've had a Zen in for 4 hours and I'll chew it up and swallow it. It'll become my food. And I say that because it's happened multiple times. Not just once, not a handful. Probably over 10.
Yeah.
Sometimes I try to scavenge through the toilet bowl to see if I poop out a Zen.
If it's like corn.
Yeah. On that note, we're going to go in to our episode 25 edition. You want me to go first, Colby?
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome, man. This week, let me see if I can throw them up on the screen for you guys. This week, I chose Mr. Tim Richmond. And if you don't know Tim Richmond, he raced in the late 70s, pretty much from the late 70s to the late 80s for that time span. Really cool guy. Is from Ohio, a town called Ashland, Ohio. He started racing open wheel at 21 years old. So to me, that's way different than what we see today. As everybody's getting in a kart or a go-kart at 6 years. Yeah, at 6 or 8, as soon as they can walk. This guy hops in the car for the first time at 21 and starts putting down some good laps in, I believe it was his dad's sprint car. He comes from a bit of money, so he has that trend going for him. He didn't grind it away. You don't start grinding away. You're 21 in this type of sport. So he grinds away. He starts racing for his dad in his open wheeled at 21, and he gets fired that same year because he wrecked too much. he wrecked the car, I think, like 4 weeks in a row, and they were like, this is not going to work. And they got him that next year. After that, they got him into a super... I should have wrote it down. It was another open wheel, but a little bit, pretty much it matched Tim's driving style a little bit better. And he raced that, and he won in his first major win came in 1978 at a mini IndyCar event called Formula Super V. I don't know if you've ever heard of those cars. I've and the only reason I kind of know what they are is I've raced them on iRacing. I know I say that all the time. I'm sorry, guys, but they're fun little cars, but they're open wheeled and they're fun. So he won in that in 1978, and that got the attention of Mr. Roger Penske himself. Dang. So yeah, so he gets that attention and gets some hookups in an Indy car, and he races the Indy 500 in 1980, so like 2 years later, races in the Indy 500 and wins Rookie of the Year of the Indy 500, is from what I believe. So not the series, I don't think, but just the race. Just the race, Rookie of the Year. I don't even know if that's like an award anymore they give, but still pretty cool to be racing that. And he finished ninth in that race. So pretty good.
In the Indy 500?
Mm-hmm, in the Indy 500 in 1980. Yeah. Won Rookie of the Year. And after that, he went back to his old ways of crashing every weekend. And so he thought his career was over. He had wrecked several more times, had not good finishes in IndyCar, and had to part ways with his team. And he thought his racing career was over until someone at NASCAR called him. And
said, "Do you love wrecking? Come on over here."
Yeah, come over here and race a stock car where we love it. And so he comes over in 1981, the next year, and he runs for 4 different teams in that year. Teams that you might have heard of. I didn't write them down, but I had never really heard of them. I'm not even open to say that they're backmarker teams or anything. But as we know, the 80s was pretty much a heyday kind of for NASCAR, and there was a bunch of people in it. A lot of independent teams. Yeah. So, but he raced for 4 different teams and finished 16th in points that year, which I thought was pretty impressive to race for 4 different teams. So he follows that up next year. In 1982, he wins 2 races at Riverside, which we kind of develop a trend there where he loves Riverside Raceway and wins a lot there. So 1982, he wins 2 races. Fast forward to 83 through 85, he races for a team called Blue Max Racing and finishes 10th, 12th, and 11th in points in those respective years. So, that's good. Yeah, very good. Again, I couldn't even tell you, have you heard of Blue Max Racing? Mm-mm. No, yeah. So I don't.
Is that like a radiator coolant?
I that's what I think. I didn't do too much research on it, but I think there's something like that. I know, but yeah. So they had a race team, and he did pretty well for them. So I don't know how much money they were pouring into him or what, but he did pretty good. So he does that for 3 years, and then in 1986 he gets the big break. And the reason this episode is dedicated to him from me is he races that car, the number 25, the Folgers 25 for Hendrick. So he gets that ride, and he wins 7 races that year.
Dang.
In 1986.
So even back then, equipment mattered that much.
It mattered a little bit. Yeah, it mattered a little bit. So he wins 7 races, finishes 3rd in points, and at the end of the year, this is where the story gets crazy, as you know. He gets sick at the end of the 1986 season. Sick with what the doctors and the media thought was double pneumonia.
Double pneumonia?
Double pneumonia is what it was written down as. He was hospitalized for a while. That's what they thought it was. But as we know, and is later found out, this man had AIDS. And he had AIDS. And it gets even crazier because so he comes back in that 1987 season after being hospitalized. Literally comes back, first weekend at Pocono, wins. Follows it up with another win at Riverside. Wins 2 back-to-back. And then races about 4 or 5 more times that year. Nothing crazy, but literally gets sick again with what we know now as AIDS. And at the end of 1987, resigns from Hendrick. So he resigns from Hendrick knowing that he's sick and he's probably not going to be able to race. 1988, he tries to make a comeback and was suspended by NASCAR for a banned substance. banned substance known as Sudafed. So there was a big conspiracy. Bill France. No. Yes, that's the active ingredient in meth, but I think he was just taking Sudafed as like a cold.
They banned him for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Cold medicine?
Exactly. So Bill France Jr., the head guy at NASCAR, comes out years later and pretty much says that NASCAR falsified documents of his drug test to make it seem like he sues NASCAR over this about this banned substance. But his problem was he wouldn't release his medical records to them. And as we know, it's because he had AIDS.
Really?
Yes. He would not release, so he wouldn't release his documents.
And that was a scary time, like, with AIDS, like, people were really freaking out. They thought, like, if you touch somebody...
It was worse than COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if you had AIDS, you were disenfranchised. You weren't even talked to anymore. So he was trying to keep that under wraps. And of course, he lost his battle with AIDS after he sued NASCAR and died... I think 3-4 years later, at the age of 34, from complication with AIDS.
Do you know what year he died?
It's
like early 90s?
Yeah, early 90s, something like that. I didn't write it down, but he died at age 34. So,
dang, that's young.
Yeah, but there is, and the reason I know a lot of this is something I was told about, but I personally want to watch now, was a ESPN 30 for 30. They did a 30 for 30 over Tim. And they go into all this stuff. So now I kind of want to watch it after doing a little bit of research on him. It was called Tim Richmond, not a Drive to Survive, but something like that. Okay. Something, yeah. It's an ESPN 30 for 30. So I encourage everyone to go give it a watch. He's a very interesting character, and party animal. And that leads me into the last thing I wanted to talk about him, and I'll let you go, is every year. And before I put this picture up on the screen, every year, as you know, for the Winston Cup, back when it was the Winston Cup, they did a picture of all the All-Star guys, poster. Okay. And the picture of the poster of this one right here, see if we can make it a little bigger on our screen. As you can notice, this is Tim right here, okay? And if we zoom in here, right here, what does that look like behind this man's ear? I know it's hard for you to see because of the angle that we're sitting at, but that
is Austin Dillon.
Yes, sir. So it is believed that during this picture that they took for the Winston Cup, NASCAR did not catch it, but he pulled out his wiener in front for the whole world to see, right behind his ear. And so this is what's crazy is these posters go for crazy money. Before NASCAR caught it, they released all of these posters for people to buy.
Question: do you think that these two guys is that? That's Darrell Waltrip.
Yeah. So I mean, there's
does this man have his tallywhacker out?
So what I also learned is there is a whole podcast series, and I wish I knew the name of it, but that was looked into this picture, just this picture. They talked to a lot of the guys in the picture here, a lot of the older guys, and they said that no, they don't think he did it. But his best friend, and I don't remember his name, but said he said for sure he did it, and they just didn't catch it, and he had it out, and is literally just flaunting it right behind.
You're gonna get banned from YouTube.
I might, but it is funny. It's funny. That he did something like that, and you can't even see it on our little TV, so you'll just have to pull out the poster, May 17th, 1987 picture of the Winston Cup All-Star race here, and there's a lot of big names in it, of course, as you can tell. Richard Petty, Dale, Darrell Waltrip, and that's just some of the big guys. All these guys, I also would know more of these guys' names. I think that's Bill Elliott right there.
I think that is. is.
And I don't know this guy's name. I was told this guy's name, and I can't remember
It
it.
looks like Tony Stewart with a mustache.
kind of does a little bit. But so pretty much I'm going to dedicate this episode to my boy Tim Richmond, who
Hey, cheers to Tim.
cheers to Tim, because he seems like a guy it'd be fun to drink a beer with.
I've seen like videos of him where he would be on pit road and he'd have his driver's suit like all the way down, showing his chest hair, and then I'm pretty sure he smoked cigarettes in the car a couple times.
I believe that.
Yeah,
I believe that.
I'm pretty sure he did. If not, Austin will watch this and correct me.
He will.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, Tim Richmond, a character.
He does also kind of have like a little bit of a shit-eating grin right there.
Yes,
Just
doesn't he?
bit,
Yeah. Like he's doing something he's not supposed to be doing. You know, like all these guys are just happy to be here, and he's like, he's just looking at the camera like, yeah, I got it out. So, cool. But yeah, Tim Richmond. So, who you got for us this week, Colby?
So I actually have another Hendrick driver
Ooh.
for you in the 25. Ken Schrader.
Ken Schrader.
Ken Schrader.
Tell us a little bit about Ken.
So Ken Schrader, so just like Tim Richmond, started out originally with a lot of teams that I have never heard of.
Yep.
But eventually in '89 he goes to Hendrick.
Go.
And that is that 25 car that you see there. So just like
he pretty much followed up after Tim, because Tim left in 87, 88. He kind of came in right after that.
That's true.
Yeah.
So a lot of the same sponsors: Folgers, Budweiser, Kodiak. So he's from Missouri. So a little fun fact about Ken Schrader: when I was doing some research, he lost the left end of his thumb, about like right here of his thumb, in a truck race in Evergreen. I believe it's Evergreen Speedway.
Ooh.
I've never heard of Evergreen, so I guess maybe it's not around anymore. Or,
Maybe not.
Or what, it might be one of those abandoned speedways.
Yeah, Lost Speedway.
But I don't think he had as much success as Tim Richmond did, because you said he won 7 races.
In 1 year, yeah.
Ken Schrader won 4.
Okay.
Still pretty good. So
That's not bad.
He's like the Alex Bowman.
Yep.
But in 1985, also Rookie of the Year before he went to Hendrick. But he raced for Hendrick for a long time. He raced from 89 to 96.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Now he races in the ARCA series a little bit. He dabbles in the ARCA series. He's older, man. I think he's in his 60s, like his mid 60s.
That would have to be right. If he was like early 20s and yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't really have a whole lot on him.
No, seems like a cool cat too.
He doesn't have as silly as a pose.
No,
Tim Richmond does.
No.
I guess they all take their photos with their cars at Daytona.
Yes,
because I noticed that with the other picture that it was at Daytona.
It was at Daytona. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also think, dude, like this era of NASCAR, and I don't know how you feel about it, but dude, like these schemes, like it would be so cool for someone to do like if Kodiak, I know they couldn't do it now because of the dip. Tobacco, but dude, it would be so cool for them to come back and do a scheme like this. You know, to me, that's just it's just a cool scheme. It's not that it is plain, but at the same time, it's just that air of vintage.
Yeah.
You know,
it's not as busy as a lot of paint schemes nowadays. It's more just it's classic look.
Yeah, it's just the name, the sponsor on the side of the car. That's it. Simple yet effective.
Yeah.
But all right, let's get into it a little bit. If you don't have any more, and let's get into our overview on NASCAR Fantasy. So, if you want to, you can start with rules, how it's played, stuff like that. I'm kind of excited to get into it a little bit. I know I play fantasy football. But this is a completely different game, and it's intoxicatingly fun. Yeah. So, if you want to start, what do you got on NASCAR Fantasy?
So anybody that watches that does not play fantasy, I would highly recommend that you play fantasy, it's super simple.
Yes.
So it's not like other fantasy leagues where you're stuck with the same people. The rules, basically, in the regular season, you have 10 uses out of every driver, and it's up to you to kind of divvy out when you use people win. There's strategy involved as to when to save people. Believe me, I'm going through that right now. But, I think Dave's catching me a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you get 10 uses out of the guys. You get 5 people put into your lineup. Then you get one person that you put in your garage. Your picks lock after stage 2.
Yep.
Which is kind of unfortunate because, as we all know, most of the action happens in stage 3. But after that, it's locked.
Yeah.
After stage 2, it's done. And so, yeah. But before, and then there's head-to-head matchups that you select as well between 2 drivers. And then basically it goes off of overall points over the season. It's not like how NASCAR is where it's playoff and people get cut off. It's overall points.
Yeah. Which makes it super fun. Another thing I love about it is like the group that we're in, and I didn't tell you this before the show, but if we get enough interest on this episode, we might do a Drop the Green league next year, because you can play up to 50 people in that, and maybe even more. You can play with a ton of people. I think there's 26, 27 in our league that we play with, of people that we all know.
Where are you at in the leaderboard? I'm just curious.
Oh, yeah, you had to do me like that. I think I'm like 18th. So that's the thing, is like, you don't have, that's another point I want to make, is you don't have to know anything to be good at it. You literally don't. Yes, it does help to have a little bit of background knowledge of who is good at what track, but at the same time, it is a crapshoot. It
Especially with these overtimes and stuff like that. Like, that's what happened with me. I mean, we'll get into it later, but when Ross wrecked.
Yeah, at Michigan. I know. It's a killer. So, but it is super fun. If it gives you something to also root for, if you don't like to gamble like we do, and you don't necessarily have a favorite driver, pick the drivers that you think are going to do well, get a couple buddies, and add it up over the year. I mean, our league has a trophy that we give out that is super cool. Plus, we do a little cash prize. So, I think, are you in the lead right now still, or is it Jill?
It is Jill. Jill has me by about, I don't know, maybe 60 points right now. So, and then Dave is only 10, 20 back. No, I think he's about 50.
Okay.
But you can still get that in a race.
Yes, you can, especially with how tight it's getting. And again, you have a guy that crashes out, and especially say he doesn't do that much in stage 1 and 2, and you lose him on lap 3 of stage 3, you are in a tough spot, because you cannot move him. And it is super fun. But so we said Jill is the leader of our league, and
congratulations, Jill,
congratulations. She's not going to watch this. This is why I'm going to say this is she knows literally not a ounce of the NASCAR knowledge that we know sitting at this table. It's very frustrating. And I'm not saying she's not a fan and she doesn't do a little bit of work, but I'm just saying, I record every single week for 2 hours almost on NASCAR. I look at stats, and I am 18th in points. Okay, so
just so you know, I'm rooting for you.
I know. I appreciate it.
And you have a long way to go, because I'm pretty sure with the Olympics, NASCAR doesn't end until maybe the second weekend in November. It might be the first.
Yeah, we have 13 races left, so we have plenty of racing. Yeah. We have now. Granted, we only have 2 races left until we get 5 more uses from guys. So it restarts. It's a completely different game after that. But
that's a good point. Whenever the playoffs start,
yes,
it doesn't matter if you've used all the uses. Everybody reset. You got 5 uses of everybody.
On everybody. That's it. That is a big key, because it does change things. And what I'm hoping to get out of mine is, if I could crack the top 10, that would be a big move. That would be a big move. Come from 18th in this, because it is hard to game, because you gotta realize, if me and Colby have the same exact drivers if our top 5 are the same, I cannot gain on Colby, even though I'm
head to head.
Yeah, okay, but you know what I'm saying. If our lineup, yeah, I could, but I'm only going to gain 30, 40 points. That's if you miss every single matchup, which is most of the time NASCAR gives you a really good, easy matchup, and then there are three ones that could go 50-50. Yep. So, but if you can gain that much in 10 weeks or so that we have left, I'm going to count it as a good win for me as a comeback. I really do want to finish top 10. No lie.
Last year?
I finished third, second. Okay. Yeah, I think
you got second.
Yeah, second or third.
No, you didn't.
I'm pretty sure
it was Dave, Austin, and me.
Okay, so 4. I was top 5. I was top 5. Okay. I led. Oh my God! We may have to screenshot it. We'll have to find it and bring it back up because I don't know about it. But I know.
Top 5.
I know. I'd led a lot of weeks there for a while.
I do.
People were chasing me for half the year. And then, of course, I mean, that's just how it goes. Yeah. That's how it goes.
Ron led for a really long time.
Yes.
And then Jill snuck out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And now it looks like Dave is creeping up the leaderboard. But
Dave is creeping as we speak right now. So but what we're getting at, it's super fun. It's so much fun. It's very interactive. It gives you something to root for every week.
Dude, I have in that league, there are 3 guys that I work with that relatively did not keep up with the NASCAR at all. And now they're in fantasy. And then one of the guys, his favorite thing is practice qualifying.
Yeah.
He's like addicted to practice qualifying. So it really gets people into the sport.
Yeah. It gets them into it. And a big thing that we kind of touched on a minute ago, but it's you're not stuck like you are in fantasy football. I mean, if you draft Joe Burrow and Joe Burrow gets hurt week 3, you're having to make trades and you're having to do all these lineups. It's so much easier because realistically, and I don't know how much work other people put in, but you can take 4 seconds of your day pulling up the NASCAR app, picking your picks on Saturday, and that's all you have to touch it. Yeah. That's it. I mean, it is literally the least amount of work a fantasy team you could put in, or it's the most. You know what I mean? You can watch practice qualifying and look at the times and how they've raced in the past and get all into it, and that can mean absolutely nothing, because
and then Jill wins.
yeah, and then Jill wins, and it's irritating.
Congratulations, Jill.
Yeah, and she hasn't won yet, so not yet. We got away. So I'm pulling for either you or Dave, because again, no offense to her, but I know you guys deserve it a little more than she does, and I don't want to see her win. So. Because I don't want to have to hand her the trophy. Because I know that trophy will not be celebrated as if it stays where it's at right now. So
and we have, like you said, we have like 20 something people. And then so everybody puts in $5, pays for that trophy, and then we normally have last year we had a watch party. I think we're having it again. Yeah,
Austin's going to host another watch party for us for the championship.
By the way, everybody, Austin's old TV was about the size of this TV.
Yeah,
he just upgraded to the TV.
So it's gonna be a good event.
Thank goodness.
It is. Yeah. It is. But so pretty much that overview encourages you to get into NASCAR fantasy if you don't already. This year is probably a little late, but just mark it down. Next year when the 500 rolls around, it's super easy to make a league. Invite all your people, and it is so much fun because we also have a group chat, and we talk all the smack that we can in that, and it's just a good time of and a lot of us don't watch the races together, but it's to know that everyone is watching. So
and you're the commissioner, so anybody that's watching before the 500 next year want to play, hit up Spencer.
Seriously, go into the comments on YouTube and email us at dropthegreen05@gmail. I'll seriously think about getting another league together. If it's only 4 or 5, I'll let you join our league that we have personally. So it's a fun time, and so if you didn't know that NASCAR even had fantasy, now you do know. So that's what we were trying to get without this overview. We thought it was a good time with football coming around, thinking about fantasy teams, because that's always a big thing is fantasy drafts, and you're doing all these mock drafts. You don't have to worry about that. You don't.
Yep.
Everybody gets the same guys every single week, so you just got to use them right.
You just gotta use them.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Well, moving on. What did you think about Michigan, Colby? Let me get your race rating this week. You had to rate it.
8.2.
8.2.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it. Of course, I hated that NASCAR didn't push up the start time to get half a race or 3/4 of a race.
Yeah.
And I will say on Monday, I did kind of appreciate being able to set my phone up on a little stand and watch the race at work because it made about 2 hours fly by.
Yep.
But man, it was a good race. I mean, I think that there was comers and goers. We saw there wasn't as much tire wear as I thought there would be. But regardless, man, this next gen package is so good.
It really
like that.
It really was impressive to me. I could not believe how fast they were actually going with this low horsepower package. I mean, 209,
190,
209. Yeah, they were hitting 209, man. On those straightaways, oh yes, I promise you.
Really?
Yes, they were going easily above 205, consistently above 200 miles an hour. And it's underrated a little bit because we are so used to seeing at these places where they're only hitting, like at Daytona, they're probably only going to hit, in these pack, 190, 195 on the straightaways, but they were going so fast. So I did really enjoy that. We did get to see a bit of passing. The runs were insane, especially on restarts. I thought it was really good. I'm with you. I gave it a 7-1.
Okay.
And a lot of that for me was just the fact I'm busy on Monday, and it was tough to sit down and watch the race. So I got to watch like the last 40 laps, which were really good. I just personally hate, and I know a lot of other podcasts have talked about it, so we don't have to touch on it long, but it is annoying that we bow down, and I know we've talked about this before, that we bow down to these TV networks and go, we have to start our race at 2:30, when you can, everything is pointing to signs, like we know at 10 a.m. that morning that rain is coming at 2:30. Especially at tracks that don't have lights, it just hurts me too. As like if I was a fan in Michigan and you wait all year for the Cup Series to come out to your place, and you live around there, you work on Monday, you're making a day trip, and you get to see 40 laps of a race, 50 laps of a race. If we could do something to where it can make it official on Sunday, kind of not no matter what, I mean, because there's always, if it pours rain all day, it pours rain all day, we shouldn't race. But if there is a window of opportunity to get that thing to over halfway, like you said, 3/4, halfway, that would be amazing. Not just for us sitting at home, but for those people there. Because, I mean, I know when I looked into the stands on Monday, there's a quarter of the crowd there,
My argument to that, so that's the biggest thing that I've heard is people saying, well, the fans on Monday. I highly recommend to anybody that if you ever go to a NASCAR race, and if you're able to, take Monday off.
Yeah.
Always take Monday off.
Yeah. If you don't, and also if you don't have to travel, or if travel's not a big, work Friday, travel Friday evening, get there Saturday, take Monday off as your day home. You are exactly right.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Like right now, I'm planning a trip to Martinsville.
Yeah,
and man, you got to take Monday off. That's what I was telling everybody. Take Monday off.
Yeah, you got to take Monday off. You are right. That is the argument to that. Maybe the fans should prepare a little bit better.
But some people, they probably can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do feel for that, but man, if you can, it's always smart to do that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to go to a race after everything you spend just being there. I mean, I'm not even thinking about the people who camp, but I mean, you spend at least $400 to $500.
Oh yeah,
at a
because you're gonna
race.
go to the merch trailer. You're gonna get another T-shirt. You're gonna get a hat. You might
You're
get
gonna get scanners.
yeah.
probably.
You're gonna get a scanner. You might even see a cool die cast. You want it. You're walking around. Now what also you're gonna get is, if you don't know the fan experience at NASCAR, you get a ton of free stuff.
You do.
You do. The fan zone is amazing at NASCAR. It's underrated to me.
Yes.
It's one of the best experience. There's not to me, I've been to a ton of Titans games. I've been to a ton of Tennessee games. There is no, I don't even care. And granted, yeah, I've been to a lot of Tennessee games, but there is nothing that drags me to a Tennessee fan zone. I don't care to ever go there.
Yeah, like in like Ball Village or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never go
No,
there either.
yeah. No one ever goes there, and that's not. And what's funny is I've technically been to more Tennessee games than I have NASCAR races, but there will not be a time that I don't go to the fan zone at a NASCAR race. There will not be a time that I miss it. You
Plus
know what I
you
mean?
can see drivers. too.
Yes. Yeah. So it is an underrated experience. But to move on from that a little bit, what did you think about the Truex caution? That was another big beef of mine. I thought it was.
He just kind of went up and hit the wall a little bit. Maybe it's because they didn't think he could get to pit road very fast.
Yeah,
What happened at the end of turn 4?
Yes, at the end of turn 4, or maybe at
he's
the beginning.
past pit road. If that's the case,
Yeah, but from what I saw, he didn't even lose that much speed. So he touched the wall, and what they threw the caution for was debris. I love the dramatics.
I was also watching it. Unfortunately, I was watching on mute because I was at work.
Yes,
so
of course.
I didn't hear any of the commentary, but I thought he had like engine failure. Is what I've been under.
That's what he.
assumption.
That's what he said. Yes, but he lost. He didn't lose enough speed to where he wasn't going minimum speed. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he could have got back around. He could have drove the bottom. He wasn't losing the oil. He wasn't putting the oil all over the track.
Not if Corey was coming by. He couldn't have drove the bottom.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He might have been on his roof too. Who knows? But he comes
along and see the 7.
Crazy Corey's flip. But he comes around, and of course they throw the caution. That's with like 5 to go. And as much as in my fantasy day was shot at that point, but as a Ross fan who is running top 5, that was so hard to see, because he would have had such a good finish. He would have been like 16 points above the cut line, which is still not like, he still has to race really good these last 2, but now he's 1 point above the cut line. So that's when you're watching, that's 1 position.
Yeah.
So they break it down. That's 1 position as we're moving through. Now, again, a lot of it depends on like who the leader is and where the other guys on the bubble are at the same time. But that's 1 position. 1 position is 1 point. So that's tough to see. I personally, again, they're just not consistent with it, and I know we've had this discussion, so I won't go into it, but my beef with it is there's enough dramatics around this time of year that we don't have to be making them. If there's legit caution, call legit caution. And I'm biased, but if there's a caution, call it. If there's not,
I think it was a good caution.
Okay, I personally don't. So
you gotta think
I think it's super questionable.
How fast did you just say they were going?
They were going 209. Yeah.
Imagine
he's
if you
by
have engine
himself.
failure, you're putting around and there's cars going 200 miles an hour around.
Yeah, if you're at the bottom of the racetrack, they do that all the time.
Buddy, they wreck down there all the time. He could have been seriously injured. The first thing's about safety, okay? I think you just need to know about NASCAR safety.
Okay. Now, let's get into NASCAR safety then. NASCAR is so safe. They've always been so safe. They almost killed Brad Keselowski because they didn't want to throw a caution, but it's okay.
They learn.
Oh, they learn. Yeah. They'll make that mistake at Daytona when they're wrecking in turn 2, and they're like, I think we can get back around.
We can get around.
Yeah, okay. Whatever, dude. But I guess the other highlight we had, you kind of mentioned it, was Corey's flip. Corey's flip was unreal. It is, again, I don't know. I'm not an expert on the aero package at all, but it does seem when those cars get sideways, they do like to flip a little bit. So I don't know if that's something they need to look at or what.
I saw a tweet from Bob Pockers today, and I hope I do this tweet justice, but essentially, from my understanding, they're adding it onto Daytona since Corey's wreck, where there is, I'm not using the right word, but there is essentially a wind, they're adding a wind blocker that on the right-hand side of the car that has always been on the driver's side of the car, but hasn't been on the right-hand side of the car for Daytona, that is going to help prevent that same situation occurring. It has
so when he turns left, because that's what he did, he got turned left and started sliding left,
and
so
the wind's hitting the right hand side.
Yes, it's hitting his passenger side of the vehicle, which gets him somehow up in the air, and that's what the roof flaps are for. And there's something also on the back of the diffuser, I think too. I saw from a car, but that'll be interesting to see how it works. I mean, because that is the thing that we don't want to happen. We don't want people to flip, because I mean those cars are 3,000 pounds, and again, I don't know if
it held up well.
It held up so well, but didn't it just seem like a toy car? Yeah, that's what was crazy to me. It's like when you're watching that video, you're like, this is a remote control toy car. There's like no one in it. I mean, there was, but that's what it looked like when you're watching it on TV. It's like, that is not a real car.
Did you see the in-car camera?
Yes.
Where he's just like holding on like this?
I heard a clip from his podcast where he talked about it, and he was after he's upside down, and apparently he was still kind of holding the wheel, and he hit the wall, and he was like, I guess I need to let go. I'm still upside down. I'm still moving. So he like grabs the seatbelt, and then of course you see it. And luckily he landed upright and he seemed okay. Yeah. But you don't want to see those things, no matter how bad Corey is. No.
And to be honest, man, I watched his in-car, like his dash camera, bunches of times, and I still cannot figure out. It looks like Noah slightly kind of goes out like this.
Yeah.
But still, I don't... They passed that close anyway, so I don't... I'm sure Corey was at fault a little bit, but I don't think it should result in that.
No, I mean, what I heard from Denny too, he talked about how much there was a lot of wind at the track anyway, and of course, as we know, all these cars are all downforce related, so you can see it when they aero block, when they try to pass the cars, when they get side by side, it just changes the wind so much. So you can literally have the most grip. The way Denny described it, and again, I may be butchering this too, but the way he described it is you can go from like the most grip you could ever have to literally having zero grip. And I think that's just what happened to Corey. Like you said, not that it was totally not him to blame at all, for maybe he should have known not to try to make that move there. But from what I've seen and what I've heard, it was literally he
had a run on him.
100%, yeah. But it's just like maybe you would know earlier in the race that you can't make that move because you can feel your car getting loose. Again, it's just one of those things. But it is kind of weird how it does that, how these cars, as we've seen, just lose all type of grip when the aero changes that much. So that, take that for what it's worth.
Also, bad look for Corey getting 32nd when I think Zane got 7th and then Carson got 10th.
Yeah, 2 other Spire cars, and that leads me into our next point here, and I'm glad you mentioned it. As you guys know, if you've been listening, Carson and Corey have a we've been keeping tally, and Carson is at 18-6. So to tie, starting this weekend at Daytona, Corey would have to beat him every single week until the championship race. He'd have to beat him on the championship race just to tie.
Carson is also 1-0 in contract extensions. So let that be known.
Yeah, Corey is looking rough, man. I know you've been kind of a Corey defender for us a little bit. You're
I like
a Corey
his podcast.
Boy. I know,
and I think
it's not a bad pod.
Seems like a normal guy.
He seems very normal. He's just bad at racing. Quit acting like you're good at it. Own up to your mistakes.
I want him to go to the truck series and just dominate.
That would be so good for him. Yeah. Either that or the Xfinity series, and we've seen that those cars are are a little different. They're kind of like the older versions with the trucks. They have the crate motor. They're all the same. I don't know if sadly, I don't think he could get hired at Spire for their trucks, as we kind of know their trucks are really dominant. But, dude, they're going to have free rides out there. Those guys are going to move up. If he can get a ride solid there, he skipped those series. And I don't think we talk about that enough, is he went straight into a cup ride. Can we blame him for that or not? It's whatever. But don't give up on what you have. Go into the truck series, win a championship. I don't think that should get you into the Hall of Fame.
Or a race.
But or a race. I don't think it should get you to the Hall of Fame, but apparently some people across this table do. You.
I know.
Okay.
I don't want to have that discussion.
Yeah, we're not having that.
I think like the overwhelming response to that video is people are like, Colby, you're so right.
Yeah, good point. I would just get shit on more, you know. All our listeners know I'm just stupid. But so yeah, but go into the truck series, go into the Xfinity series, and just do some work.
Yeah.
Do some work. Show that you can race. That because we just haven't seen it. We haven't seen it, and we know that Spire has got something going on there.
They're fast.
They're fast.
Him and RCR are just fast for no reason right now.
RCR, don't even get me started. We don't know why they're fast. Spire is at least they're cheating something. And we talked about this kind of last week, but if I'm Kyle Busch, why in the world are you giving Austin Dillon speed and not me? You know? So
well, he had it at Michigan. I think he got 4th.
Yeah, he got 4. He got a top 5, but I mean, then again, it was still he wasn't like Austin Dillon fast at Richmond. Yeah. You know, where he was literally passing the top guys under green. I mean, he wasn't doing that. He literally had to kind of make a strategy call and then kind of stayed out there and then got 4th, which is still really good. Yeah. 4th or 5th, whatever it was. And so, but, So, moving to some standouts. Tyler Reddick wins. Tyler Reddick is on fire, brother.
Yes.
He is on fire. Does he win it all?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. Only because of the fact that we see trends of people get hot, then they get cold. They get hot, then they get cold. And
but do you think you're saying he's too hot right now and he's going to cool off? Because it is a long way to go. But you got to think Ryan Blaney kept this thing going. I mean, you're right. Ryan Blaney didn't get hot till about this time last year. Mm-hmm. But dude, Tyler Reddick is on fire.
He is on fire.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
Okay.
I just don't see Tyler Reddick winning.
Yeah.
Winning it all. I don't.
Okay. I like it.
I just think since 2311 is a little bit of a second-tier team, that whenever it comes down to the championship, I still think the cream's going to rise to the top. And
I see.
It's going to be one of those powerhouses.
Penske, a Joe Gibbs, a Hendrick.
Maybe like the 11 car. Someone like them win it all. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's going to be good.
You think Tyler Reddick wins it all?
Personally, no. But dude, right now to me, he's in my championship 4. Like, dude, he's been so good. And again, you get to the championship 4, who knows what can happen? Yeah. Who knows? So I think he is rolling. Yeah. He has brought 2311 to where we're like, I mean, I always, not a powerhouse per se, but they are definitely, to me, on that kind of top level, top tier team, especially
they're
now.
The best second, what I would consider a second tier team.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, they've surpassed Trackhouse, because Trackhouse to me got them last year with what Ross did, and how I know Ross didn't make the championship 4, but neither did he
won the championship race.
He did win the championship race, but he wasn't in the 4. I think he got knocked out at 8. I think, because he got Martinsville with the 12. But you're exactly right. They are the best 2-car team by far. So I'm excited to see what they do. I wouldn't mind Tyler Reddick winning it. I think he
wouldn't either. I like Tyler Reddick a lot.
I'd like Tyler Reddick a lot. I think he's one of those. To me, there's only like 3 people that deserve it anyway, because I love the playoff. I don't love the playoff format, but I do.
Who's your championship favorite? You have one? You have one you want to say?
Right now, not yet. We're gonna save that to probably next week, because you'll be with us next week too.
I will.
So yeah,
Okay.
I told you that.
When'd you tell me that?
I told you that in the text message when I sent you. When are you good for this week and next week? And you went yes. This should be stuff off camera, but we're going to discuss it now. So that's great. But yeah.
No, we're good.
Okay. So we'll look at Daytona, and I'll probably give you my 4. Definitely. I'll give you probably my 6 after Daytona, and then maybe narrow it down to 4 after.
You want to come with 6?
Yeah, let's come with 6 next week. Who 6 contenders that we see winning it or hope win it, whatever you want to call it. So,
okay.
But that moves us right in to our playoff bubble here,
yes,
which is getting tight. So, if you haven't seen, barring not a new winner, we got Ty Gibbs plus 39, Chris Buescher plus 16, Ross plus 1, Bubba minus 1, and then the next closest person is Kyle Busch with minus 93. So Bubba and Kyle are out right now. Kyle had a shot to win at Michigan. Again, it was kind of a strategy pick, but is what it is. Bubba raced a good race.
Yeah.
He's got to keep it up. I personally think, like, I'm not going to try to be biased when I talk about this, but I think Bubba edges Ross right now.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, I mean he's better at Daytona, and we know how Ross is at super speedways. He loves to just go too hard, too quick, put himself in bad spots, and get wrecked out. Not saying he's not as good as Bubba at stuff like that, but if his main objective is to finish right in front of Bubba or right behind him. Wherever Bubba is at, that's where he needs to be glued to. He doesn't need to be as much worried about Chris Buescher. If Ty stays clean, he's fine.
Yeah.
Ty stays clean, he's fine.
Finish the race.
Yes, Ty just has to finish. Don't do anything silly. Maybe get a couple, not even win a stage, but finish like 8th in stage 1, finish 6th in stage 2. Just pad that lead right there. Buescher's got to be a bit nervous. I mean, he's got to completely stay clean. He may need to win a stage. You know what I mean? He
could get totaled.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's what it is. That's what it's going to come down to. But I'm more of a favorite that Bubba could easily switch these out right now to where Ross is out. So we'll see. But so if it comes down, if Ross wrecks out and has to win Darlington, I don't like that at all. But if, say, Bubba is 2 points to the good at coming into Darlington, I kind of like Ross again.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you their finishes at the I guess it would be the spring race in Darlington because they've already raced there. Yeah, I couldn't tell you the first race there, but I just feel like that's more of a suitable track to Ross. Again, Bubba's getting better everywhere, and he's super fast. So
it just seems like one of those tracks Bubba would make a mistake at Darlington.
Yes, yeah, and so, but Ross is.
Actually, I think he got a top 10 in Darlington. I'm pretty sure.
Did he? He may have, but
I can't remember.
Let's look. We can pull it up real quick here. When was that race?
May.
First weekend of May. Look at results. Brad won it. That's crazy that Brad won.
I remember that.
Yeah. Bubba got a top. Yeah. Bubba finished 7th. Ross finished 11th. So.
Man, so if it is like you're saying, he's only 2 points to the good, based off of
that right there
finishes, that's going to be a race.
Yeah, it's going to be a race. So, I mean, again, to me, in Ross's, if I'm Ross, where's Bubba? What's Bubba doing? I'm trying to stick with him. Of course, we know, and we're going to get into it in a minute, but we know that the Chevys do their thing. They're going to pit with Hendrick. Toyota's going to do their thing. So, Ross has got to stay clean. Bubba's got to stay clean, but it's going to be a shootout. So what I'm personally hoping is that we don't get a new winner, you know, for this battle. If we get a new winner, that throws Ross out, and that makes to where Ross and Bubba are having to vie for 16 points to get to Chris Buescher if everything stays the same. Now, if Buescher wrecks out, that completely changes the game. Both of them could be in, then you're just worried about finishing the race. So a lot of exciting stuff coming. Yeah. So hopefully NASCAR doesn't try to manufacture any other exciting details that we got to do.
No way.
But they will. So, well, all right. Moving on. If you don't have anything else. Oh, someone we touched on for a second, but I will say Kyle Busch has to win. So, and I think, as we saw at Richmond, apparently RCR has speed. We haven't seen it all year, but it would be nice for them to do something silly. And I got a good, stupid question about this that I think RCR should probably do. But Kyle Busch, to qualify for the playoffs, has to win somehow. And to me, it's not Daytona. It's going to be Darlington. I'm sorry. I
feel the exact opposite.
Really? You think
you have to remember, I'm pretty sure it was this past Daytona 500, he was going to win. And they threw a caution very late, and it kind of screwed him. Like, threw the caution as he was coming to take the white flag.
Mm-hmm.
Like, exiting turn 4.
And they threw it?
And they threw the caution.
See, I just don't remember that. And I believe you.
But he's good at Daytona.
No.
But he sucks at Darlington.
Dude, it's just such a veteran track at Darlington that
he lately has not been good.
That's fair. But if RCR has speed, if they have speed and they bring it to Darlington like that, dude, Kyle Busch he's not who if excuse me, I'm sorry. If Denny's leading and you have Kyle Busch who has speed behind you, that's not who I want to see. That is not who I want to see. Even if I'm Kyle Larson, who's, the
he's
best.
He's going to move you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's going to do it legitly. So, I mean, it's whatever. But Kyle's got to win. And again, even
he
if
might not,
he might,
Richard Childress is going to be like, Pop-Pop's proud.
Yeah. Pop-Pop is proud. Pop-Pop is proud. But Kyle's got to win, and for his sake, if he doesn't make the playoffs, I hope he just wins something to keep his streak alive. Yeah. Yep. I mean, he deserves it. He's in a tough spot. So it'll be interesting to see how it spins out. But what do you got for bets? What do you got for bets this week at Daytona as we move in, talking about that a little bit? I'm going to pull up mine because I went crazy, and I have a strategy.
That's good. That's such a predictable track.
Exactly. That's why this is a strategy play. Okay. So I'm bringing. What do you got? You go ahead before.
I only have 2 bets. So I'll keep it quick.
Yeah.
And they're both top 10s.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay. Because you never know.
You never know.
So I have Austin Dillon, top 10.
That's not a bad pick.
Plus 140.
Okay.
And then I have Daniel Suarez, top 10 at plus 210. A little bit of a value pick there. But if a big crash happens, especially if they do the NASCAR overtime, Suarez just seems like one of those guys that's not doing much the whole race. And then you're looking at 2 to go, and you're looking at the little ticker on there, and you're like, where the hell did Suarez come from?
Yeah.
So I'm putting him at plus 210.
I like it. I like it. So I went with a crazy strategy this week. I did a little math because this is a crapshoot. It's one of the hardest.
Red or black?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because this is kind of my roulette NASCAR strategy. Okay, that's what I'm calling it. Okay. So actually this week, and I told you guys a couple weeks ago, I was betting exclusively on DraftKings now, kind of because they were the partner with NASCAR. But of course, I have to check all the books and see what the best lines are.
Right.
Well, FanDuel is offering crazy lines, okay? So I picked 12 drivers this week in quarter units. So I bet 3 units on the race. So I get quarter units, get 12 drivers to pick. And if you bet a quarter unit on Joey Logano right now, and we're only betting 3 units. So betting 3 units. So if Joey is at plus 1,100. So if you bet a quarter unit on Joey, who is the favorite on FanDuel to win the race at plus 1,100, he will win you back your 3 units. Okay? So with a quarter unit, you
break even.
You break even if Joey wins. Who's the favorite? Okay. So we're using the strategy. If Joey wins, I break even. Okay. Now then I have another 11 drivers. Okay. And if any of those 11 drivers win, I can win a quarter unit or even more. So I'm going to go through them. So if Joey wins, I break even. If Denny wins, I win a quarter unit. If Blaney wins, so I picked. I'm not going to go through the units, but Joey, Denny, Blaney, Kyle Busch, Brad Kay, Chris Buescher, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Those are my 12 drivers, okay, that I've picked to win. So where we make the most money, of course, if you can guess, is with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He's at plus 3,300. So you bet.
He very well could.
Yeah,
he very well could.
You bet a quarter unit on Ricky, you are winning a lot of money. Okay, we are doing well. Okay, but to me, that was the best strategy I had because Joey's the favorite. If Joey's the favorite and Joey wins and we bet a quarter unit on him and we break even, okay, perfect. And then I still have 11 other dudes in the field that can make me money because we know it's going to be crazy. And honestly, I don't know.
You're picking outright winners, right?
Those are all outright winners. They have to win the race. Yep. So, but I mean, to me, who do you think I left off that list that you could see winning personally?
You have Brad on there and you have Chris Buescher.
I have Brad, Chris Buescher. I have Bubba. I feel like these guys on the bubble, they are going to be helped by other people. Like I think the Hendrick crowd, all the Hendricks guys are locked in. The next people they're going to help, it's going to be Trackhouse. Well, who's locked in at Trackhouse? Daniel Suarez. Who's not locked in at Trackhouse? Ross Chastain. Who are they going to help? They're going to help Ross. They're going to push Ross.
Do you think they're really out to help him that much?
I do. At Daytona, yeah. Manufacturers are crazy. And that's the crazy thing about these super speedways is they kind of own them in a weird way. And I'm not saying it's good or bad for the sport, but that's just what happens. They want to see.
They all pit together.
They want to see a Chevy win that race. If Ross has speed at the track, what does Kyle Larson have to lose? I'm not saying that if they're side by side, anything could happen. But, Larson hasn't won a super speedway in forever. I don't know when the last time he's won one. William Byron, he's going to stay out of trouble. He doesn't care. Alex Bowman doesn't care that much. It's not like it's the 500. It's a bit different. You win this Daytona race, yes, it's big. It's not like winning the 500. I think that this strategy gets completely thrown out the window, but it's a perfect roulette wheel. We're going to put some money on all these numbers.
On all these little corners.
Exactly. And if it hits on one corner, we can break even. If it hits on any other corner, we're going to make money.
I like it. So
that's what I went with. It's crazy. 12 drivers. I'll run through them one more time for you so you know if you're going to tell me. Because, I forgot to mention, after last week, we were down 3.2 units. So it's not bad. Because we were down 1.2 units. We were, after last week, we were down 2 units. So now we're down to 3.2 units. So we're down 3.2 units. So we're right there with plenty of racing left to get back into the green. I mean, all it takes is 1 week, especially if we get back to even. We're looking at 1 week, and we could be 10 plus, So run through them again. Joey, they're all outright winners. Joey, Denny, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Okay.
Those are my 12 guys. I will be cheering for any one of them.
Let's go, Ricky.
Yeah, let's go, Ricky. Ricky would be huge, and Ricky's won, so he knows how it is. He's a good super speedway guy. See how it goes. So predictions, of course, we kind of talked about it. Manufacturers mean a lot. Drafting, fuel mileage, all plays a big part in it, and then it's a night race.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of, because all these guys, like we talked about with this playoff picture here, there's going to be a lot of people scared to get out of line probably during stage 1 and stage 2. I don't expect things to kind of pick up until late stage 2, maybe stage 3. I will say, I don't know if you've seen the weather for Daytona.
I did. But it's Daytona. It's Florida. It always rains.
It's supposed to thunderstorm 7 days.
Yeah, I saw that, but I'm trying to keep a good mindset in mind that it's also a Saturday night race, so then it just gets moved to Sunday, hopefully, No. No, we're not going to talk like that, okay? So it's Saturday night race, so hopefully if they don't race then, they just race Sunday night. That would be great. It is Florida. We know how the weather is in Florida.
Maybe it gets pushed all the way to the next Sunday and we have a double feature.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they go straight on Saturday. They race at Daytona and then they pack up and go straight to Darlington for Sundays.
That'd be the best weekend.
That would be insane.
I don't know. College football really starts.
It does kind of start that weekend, but
YouTube TV in the living room weekend.
It would be. Hopefully, YouTube TV would let you do multi-view because that's what I watch on. No, none of those two, which I think is also dumb.
You can't pick your own.
I know. You should be able to pick your own.
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah. If I can watch any channel I want, let me watch any channel I want.
Click and a clack, baby.
Exactly. Yeah. A click and a clack. But new winner. Okay, if you had to pick a new winner out of the winners that we haven't had. Kyle Busch. Yeah.
I'm all in on this Kyle Busch train at Daytona.
Yeah. If he wins, of course, that puts out Ross and Bubba, and then Buescher is on the cut line big time. So, yeah, I mean, personally, as a Ross fan, I hope we don't see a new winner. I need everything to kind of stay the same and Ross to be good.
This weekend?
Oh yeah, I mean, I need him to smash a watermelon. I need to just get a win. And again, I had high hopes for Ross being a championship 4 contender, and I'm just not seeing it out of them. So, but again, you get hot, you get hot. He wins Daytona, you finish second at Darlington, whatever gets you into the playoffs and you get hot. That's what it is. So, but I'm with you. Kyle Busch, I think he's the only one right there that has the potential to do it, if you know what I mean. As we know, there's only so many cars that can actually win. I one of the guys I left out that he's not a new winner, but who I could also see winning is Austin Cindric. Cindric's really good at super speedways. I hope that doesn't happen, but we'll see.
Me too.
But moving on, stupid questions. I got a good one. Okay. So this was actually given to me by Austin. I'll give him a little credit. He was calling me and talked to me about it. And so as we know, all the super speedways are fuel-saving tracks. Okay. We know that most of the time they go literally half throttle, 3/4 at the most on these long green flag runs. What if you take 4 or 5 cars? So say a Spire. Spire has 3 cars in the field. They link up with a Ricky. They link up with who's another Chevy. But even trying to not go manufacturing lines, maybe you throw in a Legacy with Spire. You throw in Legacy. And those 5 or 6 cars on full throttle the entire race. So they have to. So the reason that they're saving fuel is so they can take out a pit stop, right?
Right.
So say those 4 or 5 cars, which is all that me and him think it would take to lap the field. So you lap the field, you're going full throttle as high as you can go. You're pushing everybody to go full throttle, and you have to pit. Say one more time. If you have lapped the field, if you have lapped the entire field, I think you could pull that off. Again, I'm not a mathematician. I didn't look too far into it, but I do think it's a really good question of like,
It's a big track.
it is a big track. So if you are a whole lap ahead of the field and you go to pit, again, say you pit at the exact same time, or not the exact same time, but a lap away from each other, I don't think the cars could link up fast enough to get close to you if you're a lap ahead, because they would have to go around you and then they have to come back to you before you got off a pit road. I don't know. You're looking at me like it's not a bad idea. So
I feel like there's a flaw in it.
I know.
I feel like somebody would have thought of this.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
I thought the same thing. So there must be
But
something.
if you lap the whole field,
Yes.
ideally you're only going to lap them one time.
Right, yes.
Then when you have to pit, that extra time you pit and they don't have to pit, aren't they just going to get...
Yeah, they would, but then you would get it back when they have to pit because they're still saving. So they're trying to take out this. So again, you're going so much faster than them. So if we break it down to an average pit is 9.5. You're in the box for 9.5, and that's the time that you lose. So say you're 9 seconds ahead of them, you'd be way more than that. It takes them 45 seconds to get around the track. You would have around 50 seconds on them.
I would love to see this
exactly
play out.
I would. So,
I don't know why a
but
crappy team doesn't just try it.
Right.
I guess that Daytona crappy team is thinking, okay, well, we might just win this anyway.
I know, but I also think you stay out of a lot of trouble. You know, because you're by yourself. You're by yourself. You have to have trust in your 4 or 5 guys not to go crazy.
Like the Toyotas when they all wrecked themselves. I'm pretty sure it might have been at Talladega.
Yeah, yeah. So you stay out of that. I mean, you don't stay out of that, but I mean, you could still always have that happen. But at the same time, like, what does Spire have to lose?
Yeah,
No one is going to qualify for the playoffs unless they get a win. What does it matter if no offense to Corey, but you already got a dude that's finishing 36th every week, 32nd. So if you could get, and again, if you're a mathematician, please tell us why this wouldn't work. But it seems like it would. It seems like it would work. It's very interesting to think about.
Very interesting
yeah.
question.
So hopefully, once I have a little bit more time, maybe we can come back with a legit answer on why it wouldn't work.
Are we gonna do the math? Because I don't want to do that.
I'm gonna look at when we're watching the race. You can kind of see like the actual time stamps of what's going on. So I'll try to do a little math, but it does seem like it could work in theory. But to your point, if it would work, why in the world is no one trying it? My thought is you can't get anyone to buy into that. Maybe you can't. Maybe they're the smallest voice in the thing in the meeting room, and they can't get anyone to buy into that. But to me, once you push all those cars faster, who knows what could happen? Who knows? you have Zane Smith winning in Daytona this weekend. So
I mean, but he could also win in Daytona anyway. 'Cause it's Daytona.
You're right.
I think that's the reason maybe why they don't try it. It's just because like Daytona, Talladega are the place for
I know, but just
smaller teams to strive.
I know, but this is a great way to imagine if those 4 or 5 drivers are leading 30% of the laps. The screen time they would get would be unreal.
If it doesn't work, you're going to look like the biggest idiot in the garage.
You look silly, yeah. But you have enough mathematicians.
You imagine like the guys in the booth being like, "What the hell?"
Yeah,
you guys are just gunning it. I do. Yeah. That's interesting.
It is. It's very interesting on what could happen. So I don't know. We'll see. But personally, that's what I would like to see. I want to see the cars go as fast as they possibly can for as long as they possibly can. I don't like to see the cars go half throttle around Daytona and go.
The 3 wide looks cool until you realize they're all going half throttle.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, and we've seen it before where at like Indy and be like, hey, when Larson was coming through the field, push these guys, make them go faster. We know they're not going to get to the end because you have enough fuel. So it's one of those. And again, maybe the cautions throw a wrench in it to where you can't get all the way around fast enough. That may be part of it. Who knows? It may would have worked without the 3-stage type of format. But to me, it's very interesting to see because these green flag laps are decently big, especially the third one. You know you're going to have to make a green flag stop. Who says just go full throttle the whole time and see what happens? Maybe like you said, maybe you can't build up a lead big enough that it matters. But I would love to see it.
Yeah. Try it.
Yeah. What you got?
I have stupid questions.
Yeah. Do you have any? Okay. Good. Well, where are you watching this weekend? Watching at home?
I think so. So this is also week 0 of college football. So I'll be got 2 TVs in the living room. Going to have the Daytona race on the big TV, and then I'm pretty sure it's like Nevada playing at the same time. So I'll be watching that on the small TV.
I need you to text me who you're betting on week 0. Okay, I'll send you mine. You got it?
I got it.
Who you got?
I got Florida State -12.
Okay.
And then
you got it -12?
They're playing Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I know, but they're playing in Dublin.
What does that matter?
They're playing across the ocean. I don't know why.
They've been there for a week.
I don't know why, but I literally have this weird feeling that it's going to be. I don't know. I'm not saying that Florida State money line is not the play, but I'm just saying 12 is a lot. They are playing.
12 is a lot of points, but
week one, Georgia Tech may not score. I may eat my words, and I'm not going to do it to you. But Georgia Tech plus the money is the play.
Money line?
No. Plus 12 or whatever they're giving you. That's the play. Unless it's 6. I think 6 is more of a better number. 12 is a lot. I think Florida State wins. 12 is a lot of points week 0.
2 touchdowns, buddy.
A lot of points.
And then I just have over-unders, but the highest over-under thing. The rest of the teams you don't know a lot about.
Yeah.
And so most of it I was like, I want to cheer for points.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. I like it.
There was one that was like 59.5, and I was like, we'll take the under.
Yeah. That's a lot. Yeah. Well, good deal. Well, hey, you guys finally wanted a short episode. We got Austin off the pod. He couldn't chat us up like he always does. We are at an hour and 20 minutes, less than that. So, great episode. Colby, I thought we covered a lot, and you're going to be back here next week. So,
I'll be back.
I'll be watching probably Daytona at home. I'll be definitely watching a little bit of college football. I didn't know anyone else was playing, honestly, than Florida State and Georgia Tech. So
it's a lot of no names.
Yeah, so I know I'll be watching that game, but I'm excited. It's gonna get tough. As far as a NASCAR fan goes, it's gonna be a bit harder to compete with football coming back around. But dude, it's that time of year. If you're a sports fan, it's the time of year that you are just happy to be alive. I mean, the fall is here.
More sports is better than no sports.
Exactly. You know? I don't know if you felt it this morning, but the weather was just an absolutely crisp, like nice October morning, like early October morning. It was wonderful.
I'm wearing a jacket because I take Titan on a walk at like 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Dude, it's 59.
It was beautiful.
Going outside, I went. Brr.
Yes.
Yeah. You get little baby bird.
Exactly. So, a lot of exciting stuff. Colby, thank you so much for doing this, man. Yeah. So we'll do it again next week. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.